Hello, all you beautiful people out there. I hope you have had or are having a fantastic day. If you're new around here, welcome. My name is Salam, the teenager who talks about teenage stuff because there simply isn't enough of it on the internet. If you guys are new around here, I'd appreciate it so much if you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on your post notifications. It helps the channel greatly. In case you missed it in the last couple of videos, Salam Bar on TikTok. Follow me on there for any other behind the scenes shenanigans that you don't get to see on YouTube. Trust me guys, it is a lot of fun on there. Speaking of TikTok, check out this TikTok that I saw today.
Fuck off! I'm running low on the will to live right now, but I'm not going blah every 5 minutes, am I?
For all you students out there, it's May, and you know what that means. May is good old examination month, good old examination period, or should I say. I'm one of those students. I'm one of those students that is going to be having their exams in a few weeks. Am I stressed about it? Yes. Have I started studying? Of course not. I get a ton of questions either in my DMs or in the YouTube comments asking me like, hey Salam, how do you prepare for exams? How do you make sure that you're 100% ready when going into those tests? Well, today I'm gonna share some of my best tips with you. Some of these tips I utilize when practicing for my mid-years. Some of them are new ones that I plan to utilize very, very soon. The best thing you guys can do, the number one tip that I can give you is make a study schedule. Trust me, I slept on this tip for far too long before I put it into practice for my examinations during the middle of the year. It is an absolute godsend. It's such a useful tip. An exam schedule allows you to set certain days for what you want to study when, and it makes sure that you cover everything that you need to before you go into those examinations. And it also kind of gives you a sense of control in this very unpredictable period. So you know what you're doing, you know, go bam, bam, bam. And if you're a person who likes to go by schedules, who has a very organized sort of planned lifestyle, then this will work very well for you. If you're not one of those people like me, I never really follow a plan, give it a go. Trust me, it might work brilliantly for you. Well, how do you go about creating a schedule like this? Trust me, it is very simple. It'll take you around 15 to 30 minutes depending on how much stuff you have to cover and put into that schedule. It's a pretty simple formula. Take the number of days that you have left until your exams, divide it by the number of exams that you need to sit. That value will give you the number of days that you can allocate to each subject in order to make sure that you're studying for all of them equally. Feel free to play around with this value though. If you feel like you don't need to allocate as much time to a certain subject, take that extra time and put it towards a subject that you might need a little bit more time for. Your next step is to create a Microsoft table with the number of spaces that match the number of days you have left until your exams, and then just go about allocating each subject into a spot and then maybe writing subtopics of what you're gonna study on each day. It's as simple as that. Play around with it, make it creative, make it look cool, print it out, put it on your desk, get everything done. Tip number 2 is to make sure you're following a study method. Don't fall into the trap that many other students do. It's the trap of procrastination. You don't know how to study, you don't know what you're gonna do, so instead you're gonna watch TikTok for the next 3 hours. No, don't do that. If you need a good video on study methods, there's one linked in that corner. I think it's that corner. Once you've picked your study method, make sure you stick to it throughout the entire examination preparation period because it'll give you some form of consistency in your studying. However, if you do want to pull the old switcheroo, a tip that I can recommend is that if you are studying bio one day, maybe dedicate one day to just reading notes and the other day to practice questions. Chemistry or 2 days later, use that same sort of style. So keep some form of consistency, but don't be afraid to play around with it. Tip number 3, I'm sure teachers out there will be thanking me for this one, guys. Ask your questions early on. This exam preparation period is the time to clarify any doubts you may have regarding content, regarding structure, whatever it may be, but ask it early on. Don't show up to your exam and go like, yo, Miss Jenkins, what is the answer to this? Because Miss Jenkins is going to freaking kick you out of the classroom faster than you can blink. Email them, find them, do whatever you can to get into contact with them early on to make sure that you have those questions answered and you can move on with your studying. Don't let any small questions or any small uncertainties throw off your studying. Make sure you get those clarified super quick. Tip number 4 is to utilize all the resources that you have available to you. Trust me, you have a lot more than you think. Now, alongside those PowerPoints that you've gotten from your teachers and the notes that you've been making the whole year around, there are a lot of other great resources online, and I'm talking about question banks, I'm talking about past papers, I'm talking about notes that you might not have made but that have been uploaded onto the thing known as the internet. The internet is a powerful place for students, and there are many other students like you who are going through the same exam preparation period, and a lot of them have shared these resources. One of the great websites that I know that I use for the IB is called IB Documents. Other than that, have a look on Reddit. Reddit is a fantastic place to find other people who are going through the same things as you and who are sharing brilliant resources online. online. Very closely linked to tip number 4 is tip number 5, which is to utilize past paper practice questions. If you haven't done this before, you're missing out, especially if you're in like A-levels or the IB or some form of system that's quite, I don't want to say uniform, but pretty predictable. By utilizing practice questions and past paper questions, you're probably gonna secure yourself an easy few marks on the paper, because these big educational institutes and corporations like reusing past paper questions. So when you do stumble across a past paper, a lot of those questions might appear on your test, especially if it's like an internal test made by your teachers. I don't think teachers want you to know this, but they get most of their questions from question banks. Doing practice questions is also a fantastic tool in order to make sure you're ready to answer the questions in the style that your system wants them answered in. Many different systems have their own unique ways of how they want you to answer questions. So if you do practice answering it in that specific way, you'll be much more prepared for your exam. And it'll also allow you to plug any knowledge gaps you may have. If you stumble across a question and you don't know what it means, or you haven't seen that type of content before, you can do a quick Google search or a quick search through your notes in order to make sure that you plug that gap. Swiftly moving onwards, we have tip number 6, which is studying with your friends. Studying with your friends is a great way to make studying not seem like a chore and seem actually a little bit more enjoyable. And there are a ton of other benefits that come along with it. Your friends might have some information, or you might have some resources that they don't have. And by sharing the knowledge and building upon this like mountain of resources, you guys will be benefiting each other greatly. They'll thank you for it, you'll thank them for it, and it's overall just a fantastic thing to do. Help each other out. They might have some great tips that you didn't previously know, and you can give them some tips that they might not have known. It'll make studying feel like less of a chore and more of something you actually, well, I won't say actually want to do, I won't go as far as that, but something that won't be as much of a hassle to do. Tip number 7, guys, I'm a huge advocate for this. I say this in a lot of my tip videos. Find time to do things that you actually enjoy. Go train, go play a musical instrument, go read, go take your mind off of studying for a little bit, and then get back at it later, because your body needs some time to recover, your brain needs some time to, kind of relax and make sure that it recovers from the studying that you've been doing in order to prepare itself for the next study session. By allowing yourself to do things that you enjoy, you're allowing your body and your mind to take a bit of a rest and to recover in order to make sure that you're fresh for the next study session. It'll also make sure you're getting an adequate amount of exercise each day. If you do decide to go train, go on a short walk, go on a bike ride, just do anything to make sure you're moving and not just sitting at your desk all day. And guys, last but not least, tip number 8, which is probably the most slept on tip in this entire list. It's probably the fact that you're not getting enough sleep, my guys. So make sure you're getting to bed early and getting your full 8 hours of sleep every single night. Now, before you go like, Salim, what are you, my mom? Wait, hear me out. Give me a couple seconds. Getting their full 8 hours of sleep makes the biggest difference that I've noticed, especially when it comes to studying. If you not only get 8 hours of sleep before your exam, but get it during your preparation phase, you're going to be able to recover much more quickly and make sure that your next day studying is going to go a lot smoother. Approximately 7 out of 10 high schoolers worldwide don't get enough sleep. 6 out of 10 middle schoolers don't get enough sleep. Make sure you're not one of those statistics and get to bed a little bit earlier. If you don't believe me, try it out for yourself. Get a full 8 hours of sleep, but make sure you're not going to bed at like 3 o'clock and then waking up at 11, because that just defeats the point of getting your full 8 hours of sleep. Try going to bed at 10, waking up at 6, and you're going to have a much more productive day because you're literally going to have more hours in the day to do what you need to do. Anyway, guys, that is about it for today's video. Sorry if I haven't gone to your DM or comment yet about this topic. It's because I was planning on doing a video about it very soon. So I hope this answers a lot of your guys' questions. If you did enjoy, I'd appreciate it so much if you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on your post notifications. It really helps support the channel. Again, don't forget to follow me on TikTok, Salim Mubar, on that platform. It's a lot of fun. Trust me, you'll get to see a lot of the behind the scenes content that you don't see on YouTube. Without further ado, I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I hope you have an even better week ahead of you. Get to sleep, get off your phone, and I will see all of you later.